Okay. 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 Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So you are welcome to this class, which is English Studies class. So our topic for today, the topic we are going to discuss today is
This is JSS 2 English for Basic 8. Basic 8 English.
so active and passive constructions. That is our topic for today. If you could remember very well, when you were in JSS 1, when you were in Basic 7, you've been taught about active and passive. You've been given active and passive definitions. If you could still remember very well, but we are still going to go back to it. I'm going to give you the definition once again for the benefits of some of us that might have forgotten the main definition of active and passive voices or active and passive sentences. So I'm going to give you the definition of both as a reminder before we move on to the construction of how to construct active voice or how to change active voice to passive voice whenever we are speaking or we are writing something. So don't forget. So active voice is a voice or sentence that is telling us about what something or someone does. It is telling us about what something or someone does. Active voice are sentences are telling us what something or someone does. That's a simple definition of active voice as you have been taught in JSS 1. Don't forget, that is just a reminder. Now, passive voice or passive sentence are sentences telling us what happened to something or someone. So that is just the difference between the two. This is telling you about what a particular person or something does, while this is telling us about what happened to something or someone. That's just a simple definition of it and the difference between the two. Let me give you this example just as a reminder before I move on to the constructions. Now, take a look at this example. The boy kicked the ball. This is in active form. The boy kicked the ball. Let's take a look at this example very well. If you look at this from here to here, this is just a noun phrase. and it stands in a position of subject. Subject. Kicked is our verb, and the ball is also a noun phrase, but in the place of objects. In an active format, the boy kicked the ball. That is just the first example I'm going to give you this morning. Now, if you want to change this, I'm still going to give you more examples. But if you want to change this particular sentence, simple sentence, the boy kicked the ball. It is in active form right now. Now we want to change it to a passive voice or passive sentence. How do we do that? That is what this topic is going to tell us this morning. The boy kicked the ball. That is just a simple active voice or simple sentence. Now, let me now change it to, this is the first example. Let me now change it to passive voice, this particular sentence. If you want to change an active sentence or active voice into passive voice, this is what we are going to do. Don't forget, this is our object. You can just bring the object, which at the end of this sentence, you can bring it to the position of the subject. We are going to have something like this. The ball was kicked. The ball was kicked. You can omit, if you like, you can omit the subject here. Because what I want you to understand about this topic is that in active voice, it's just telling us about what happened to something. And in this sentence now, what we are concerned about is ball. This is the object. It has been moved to the position of subject right now. That's why we're having the ball was kicked. You can simply complete it by adding just by ball. Stop. The ball was kicked by the ball. Passive. Don't forget to add it there. Passive. The ball was kicked by the ball. That is the first example I'm going to give you this morning. Another one is this. Shoyinka. Shoyinka wrote many poems. Shoyinka wrote many poems. This is just an active voice sentence because we are having the subject in the position, that means the first position of the sentence. Shoyinka wrote many poems. In the first example I gave to you, don't forget, if you are to change this particular sentence to passive voice or passive sentence, don't forget what you are going to do. Just bring the object here to the position of subject. How do you do that? Just write it like this. Many poems were written. To complete it, you can just by Shoyinka. Passive. Shoyinka wrote many poems. That's just a direct sentence. But you want to change it to a passive. You want to tell us what happened to something like object. You just change it to many poems were written by, in case, by Shoyinka. That is just in active, in passive voice. But don't forget, The passive form permits you to put someone in the position of subject, like I explained earlier, something that is already in the position of object, of subject. You can easily move it to the position of object, and what you have in the position of object in active form of sentence, you can easily move it to the position of subject. Hope you are getting it. The boy kicked the ball. The ball is our object here. You are now moving it to the position of subject, and you're having the ball was kicked by the boy. So let me now move on how to construct, how to change active sentence into passive sentence. Now, this is the first one. The passive voice or the passive tense sentence is often used in English language to express ideas that are impersonal. Just take note of that. To express ideas that are impersonal. That is just the passive construction of passive form. It is an expression it is an expression where you tell us what has happened to something or someone in English language. Just take notes of this because we are going to dwell much on passive voice. It is often used in English language to express ideas that are impersonal, that is, in a situation where you do not want to mention the doer or an action or the person involved. You don't want to mention the person involved. That's why I gave this example here when I changed this active voice sentence into passive. If you remove by the boy, you are still making sense. If you remove this particular phrase, the ball was kicked. Just that you don't want us to know who kicked the ball, but you've already passed a message that the boy has been kicked already. Now, let me give you this another example. Many illegal houses were destroyed by the rain storm. Take a look at this sentence. Many houses, let me just remove the illegal there. Many houses were destroyed by the rainfall because it's just a natural disaster. You can't say because it is illegal. That is the main reason why those houses were destroyed. So many houses were destroyed by the rainstorm. If you look at this sentence, is it in active voice or is it in passive voice? If you are to answer me correctly, you discover that this particular sentence is in passive voice. Why? Why? Many houses that you are seeing here is the object. Is the object. Rainstorm is the subject. Is our object. Now that we have already moved the object, which is supposed to be at the end of the sentence, to the position of subject, that's the first rule that you should understand about how to construct a passive sentence. If you are to change this particular sentence to active sentence, how do you do that? Just make sure you just bring the subject to its normal position. The rainstorm okay. We want to change this example I've already given to you. I want to change it to active voice sentence. Let me change it to active voice sentence. How do we do that? Just make sure you identify the subject in the sentence. Wherever you find the subject of the sentence, just bring it back to its normal position. The rainstorm, the rain storm has destroyed many houses. Can simply stop it there. The rainstorm has destroyed many houses. It has changed to active voice sentence. Now, the rainstorm has destroyed many houses. If you look at this sentence, that means we've already brought the subject back to its position. This is just a noun phrase in position of subject. And here, this is the object.
You need to have a cap.
Okay.
So just please listen. Mr. Sulaiman will give you a recap of the whole thing for those that joined late. So
Okay.
just pay attention, please.
Now, for the benefit of those that are just joining us, our topic for today is active and passive constructions. Active and passive construction. If you could remember very well, when you were in Basic 7, you've been taught the definition of active voice and that of passive voice. But for the benefit of some of us that might have forgotten, so that is, I'm going to remind us that active voice are sentences that are telling what something of someone does. What it's telling us about what something or someone does. That is in subject. You have it in subject position there. The opposite of active voice is passive voice, and it's telling us about what happened to something or someone. This will be in a subject form, and this one will be in an object form. That is just the major difference between the two. This one is telling you, which is active voice, is telling you about what someone does or what something does, while this one is telling you about what happened to something or what happened to someone. So I gave you an example here. The first example I gave to you is the boy kicked the ball. The boy kicked the ball. That is just a simple sentence. We're having the ball at the position of subject A, and the ball is our object. Now, if you want to change, you want to reconstruct this particular sentence, which is an active voice sentence, into passive voice sentence. How do you do that? I explained earlier on that you bring what you have at the object position here, you just bring it down to the position of subject. This is our object, the ball. Just come to this side, bring the ball at the first position of it is allowed. You can do it like that if you want to construct your passive voice. The ball was kicked. The ball was kicked. That means if you don't want to mention the person that is responsible for the kicking of the ball, you can stop here. You are still making sense. But if at all you want to mention the person, to the person you are discussing or you are giving, you are narrating what has happened to, just add by the boy for the clarity. The ball was kicked by the boy. That means the ball is the object. The boy is the subject. But we've interchanged their positions. We brought the ball to the position of object, while we just change the position of the ball to the position of subject. This is passive, because it's telling us about what's happened to the ball. Now, another example is this. Soyinka wrote many poems. Soyinka wrote many poems. That is an active sentence. So if you want to change this sentence to passive voice or passive sentence, just try and bring the object here. Bring it to the first position, which is the position of subject, and you have something like this. Many poems were written by Soyinka. Many poems were written by Soyinka. That is passive voice. Now let's move on. I told you earlier on,
Abdulbasi Durowade and every other person. The explanation that has been made, is it clear to you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for that. Hussein and others in the class, do you get the
Yes, sir.
explanation clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your attention.
now let's continue. We are going to dwell much on passive, because ordinarily we used to have active sentence in whatever you want to say, but to change it to passive, that is what we are going to dwell on this morning much. So now another example is this, because I've already told you that you can change the position of subjects, bring it down to the position of objects, and bring the objects to the position of subject. That's how to change your active to passive. For another one is this: many houses were destroyed by the rainstorm. And I asked the students earlier on that this particular sentence, we stop here. Is it passive or active? This is just an indicator for you to know that this sentence is in passive form. Wherever you see something like this, and you look at the sentence very well, you discover that many houses, this is the object. Because many houses were destroyed by the rainstorm. Rainstorm is our subject there. Is the doer that does something to the house, to the houses. So once you see by, it's just an indicator that that particular sentence is a passive voice. Now let's change it back to active voice. The rainstorm has destroyed many houses. The rainstorm has destroyed many houses. That means we have changed the passive sentence now to active sentence. Don't forget that the main reason why we convert or we change active sentence into passive sentence, another reason is this: the passive voice or passive sentence can also be used if you want to emphasize what happened or what was done rather than the doer. You want to narrate something, you want to give account of something, you are just telling someone about what has happened, but you want to lay emphasis, but you don't really want to mention the doer. You don't really want to mention the person that committed the act. You want to hide it. In English language, just make use of passive voice. It's as if you are hiding something behind the sentence. The ball has been kicked. The wind has been blown. Who blow the wind? I mean, who blow the whistle or the wind? So you are hiding something, but you are laying emphasis for the person you are talking to know that something has really happened. Now let's continue. I'm going to give you much more example so that you understand what we are discussing this morning. The thief stole 10 cars last year. Example, another example. The thieves stole 10 cars last Abdulbasit and others. If you look at this sentence, is it in active voice or passive voice? Can you hear me? Is it in active voice or passive voice? Abdulbasit, are you there?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Just wait for them to respond. Okay, who is talking? Come again, please. The question on the board, is it in passive or active voice?
Yes, the sentence here, is it active? Is it an active voice or passive voice? The thieves stole 10 cars last year.
Okay, do Ade answer that it is inactive?
Yes, correct. This is active voice sentence. So now to change it to passive, it's very simple. Just interchange, bring the subject to the position of object and bring the object to the position of subject. You are going to have something like 10 cars were stolen by the thieves last. They are still saying the same thing, but this is just for you are just laying emphasis on what has happened last year. So 10 cars were stolen by thieves last year. So if you take a look at all the examples I've given to you, from this, the boy kicked the ball, which is in active. The other one is the ball was kicked by the boy, which is in passive. How to interchange it, I've already explained it to you. Just bring the object to the position of subject and bring the subject to the position of object. If it is in past tense form, don't forget, whenever you want to change it, let it be in past tense form, like we are having it here. The boy was kicked by the ball. The boy was kicked by the ball. So it's still in past form. So Soyinka wrote many poems. Many poems were written by Soyinka. And don't forget to add this agency by to it in case you want to show the doer. Another one is this: many houses were destroyed by the rainstorm. Many houses were destroyed by the rainstorm, which you can change to the rainstorm has destroyed many houses. That is to change it to active voice. That is, and don't forget, like I told you, that the essence of changing active voice to passive voice is to lay emphasis. Is to lay emphasis on what you are saying. That's just the essence of changing active voice into passive voice. And it's going to show the person you are talking to, the person you are speaking with, it's going to show the person that you know how to express yourself and how to construct English correctly. It's going to show you as someone that knows what he's saying. Now, I think I should be able to give you like 2 examples more before you ask your question in case if there is anything that has not been clear to you. Let me give you another example. This one is a very simple one. Someone has pushed me. Someone has pushed someone has pushed me. That is
Okay. Welcome. Thank you.
now look at this sentence. Someone has pushed me. You don't really have noun here. It is just an indefinite. We have indefinite pronoun here. It's not that you are mentioning someone's name. Just put indefinite pronoun there. Someone has pushed me. Now you want to report this and change it to passive. It is an active form now. So you want to change it to, you just say that I was pushed. I was pushed. If you add this to it by someone, this is in passive, don't forget. This is in passive voice. Someone has pushed me. I was pushed by someone. So you just try and change it. Bring the object here to the position of subject. Because you as a person here, you are the object because someone pushed you. But changing it to the position of subject here, it makes it a passive. I was pushed. You can simply keep quiet after saying that. Who pushed you? I was just pushed. Because you don't want to mention the person's name. So you can use indefinite pronoun as your subject whenever you want to construct your active or passive sentence. So at this juncture, let me ask you if you have any question, just ask before we move on. Because I said how to change or how to reconstruct your active voice sentence to passive voice sentence. That is the topic. So you can free to ask your question in case there is something you don't really understand. Ask question before I give you. Let me give you assignment for today. Before I give you,
You can mention the page and the exercise. So I don't need to just.
okay.
Please, if you have